went the roo in the morning, and then the girl told me we're out of venison. I don't know what that gamekeeper's up to again. Actually, I do know, and it ain't nothing good. And now this. 3 years that lot was broken, 3 years that was nothing, and promising to fix it. But no, after all, I'm just a stupid cook fanker who's always nagging and won't leave anyone in peace. But if I didn't nag, there'd be nothing done in this godforsaken castle. You have to kick people's asses here to even get them out of bed in the morning. The lazy bones. Pfui!
And when that's all done, let the maids get stuck into cleaning, so you don't show me up in front of his lordship.
The Lord be with you. What do you need? See you later, my friend.
Quick, quick! Sir Otto will be back any time, so make sure everything's in order. I don't want to see any idling.
Thank you kindly, young man. If you want to get a bite to eat, stop by the kitchen.
Make sure those liverwursts are well roasted, so they're crisp on the outside and juicy on the inside. Nothing half-cooked. Oh, this talk of food makes my stomach turn.
Sir, I want to ask you something.
You? What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be helping outside in the courtyard? Christ! Ah! First you cause mayhem at a noble wedding, and now you go snooping around where you shouldn't.
I noticed, sir, that something is troubling you. I could help you.
How could a vagabond like you help me?
Sir, I might not look the part, but I've read a lot.
Don't waste my time with your jokes, you nobody. What would you be able to read?
Species de cipit, sir. Looks can deceive. As it happens, I've read many Latin and other texts. For example, the etymologies of Isidore of Seville, the writings of Abbess Hildegard of Bingen, and the Herbarium de Horis Sanitatis, De Materia Medica, and others.
Well, you really surprise me, lad.
Anyway, I'll examine you and try to make a diagnosis.
Yes, that should help.
Did you get advice from anyone about it? Have you tried anything for the pain?
Well, I talked to our surgeon. He just said it was odd and told me nothing more. So I went to Kolin to see Professor Joachim Bavorsky, and he advised me.
Yes? What?
It's a little awkward for me to talk about, I must admit.
Master Chamberlain, I'm here as a practitioner of the medical arts. You can rest assured that whatever you tell me will remain between us.
All right. The professor spoke at length about Jupiter and the houses, and then he told me that my bodily humors are out of balance.
I would expect so. And what did he recommend?
Well, that I should get more silver into my body. So I wear more silver jewelry, and when there's a full moon, I go to the meadow here below the castle, naked.
Really? So you're taking it quite seriously. And has it worked?
No, but there'll be a full moon soon, so I could damn well use some other advice.
I understand. With your permission, I'll examine you, sir.
What? Here and now?
Now, don't worry, I'll just have a look at you. You don't have to lie down or strip.
I'm glad to hear it.
You're quite pale and rather sweaty.
When it comes upon me, I sweat a lot.
Your eyes are all right. Do you have ringing in your ears?
No.
Do your hands shake?
Well, I'm not the youngest, but it's nothing too bad.
All right. Tell me, Master Chamberlain, does it hurt all the time, Or does it come in waves?
No, not all the time. More like I get attacks.
Uh-huh. And these attacks, have you noticed whether something sets them off?
Well, it's worse when I get upset.
And does it get worse in autumn, when it gets colder?
Yes, it's usually worst in October. Then I don't even have to get upset for it to start.
All right, that makes sense. Tell me, sir, what do you usually eat?
Well, I often eat from the banquet table.
So, a lot of roasted game?
Yes, and pâtés, goose, duck. I dine as befits my status.
I see. Sir, I'm afraid you have a stomach ulcer. If it's not treated, you could even die of it.
Good God. What should I do?
The main thing is a strict diet. No fatty or heavy foods. In other words, nothing from the banquet table. You have to eat boiled white meat, poultry or fish, lots of vegetables, and gruel.
Gruel? Like a...
Yes, like the common folk. And another thing, you mustn't get angry, under any circumstances.
What? I mean, what?
That's the way. Oh, and I'll get you a herbal potion. I know exactly what will do you good.
Can't you get me that potion right now?
I don't have the required remedy, but I could brew it. Only, I don't have the apparatus for that. And also, I could use some medical literature.
Don't worry about that. Our surgeon is also often at a loss. I expect you'll find everything you need in his... It's upstairs in the Crone. That's the second tower. Now we're under the Maiden. Do you know how to get there?
I think so, but I was told to stay only in the outer courtyard. I wouldn't want to get in trouble.
Trouble? I'm the one who has trouble. Don't worry. Tell them I sent you. Just go, for heaven's sake.
All right. Besides caring for your mortal coil, the well-being of your soul shouldn't be neglected, sir.
What do you mean by that?
I think I could pray for your health. A word to angels to ask for their intercession can work miracles. The greatest Christian physicians recommend healing in both the material and spiritual world. And you have a very nice chapel here.
Father Nicodemus takes care of that. What I want from you is medicine, not talking to angels. Got it?
Yes. I'll go and get something for you.
Good. If you'd be so kind... Oh! And make sure those liverwursts are well roasted, so they're crisp on the outside and juicy on the inside. Nothing half-cooked. Oh, this talk of food makes my stomach turn.
I hope you weren't planning on breaking in here. You're not permitted to be here. Surrender at once.
What?
I surrender!
You've no bit.
You can't say you weren't warned.
Looking to steal
You
something.
can't just loiter around on other people's property. You'll pay up and show me whether you stole anything. Otherwise, we'll deal with your unruliness in the pillory.
How dare you accuse me like that? Like some ordinary peasant. Do you have any idea who I am?
Oh, I apologize, my lord. I must have made a mistake. Let's just forget about this.
And don't forget to light the fire in the main hall.
The second toll for Hans. Fanka the cook sent me.
Jesus Christ, God protect us from all evil. What does that harpy want?
She's not able to open the spice chest.
Again? She's a bloody nuisance.
Maybe if you fixed it, she'd stop bothering you.
Maybe if your pa wiped you off on his sleeve, you wouldn't be here making cheeky remarks. I'm a castle blacksmith, not some village tinker. I've more important things to do.
She told me you always open it with some implement. I'll gladly do it if you tell me where to find one.
Jesus, why do you even talk to that woman?
I'm supposed to help out around here.
What of it? I already let you into the forge anyway. There's this small red pot on a shelf there with some lockpicks in it. But I don't suppose you know how to use one.
As it happens, I do.
I'd rather not ask where you learned. Although you just got out of jail though, eh? Just don't get up to any funny business with them.
Sure.
Greetings.
About that horseshoe.
Well, did you get it done?
Yeah. Here.
Well, what are you standing around here for? I told you to take it to Kabat.
No. You told me to bring it and show it to you.
You're a smart one, eh? Well, now I'm telling you to go to Kabat with it. He's our groom. Most likely he'll be idling by the upper stables. The grouch. Just between the two of us, he's a very unpleasant fella. Unlike me.
I can't wait. I brought you those horseshoes. I mean, horseshoe.
That took long enough. I've only got one horse here and I've got nothing to shoe him with. And you know who gets in the shit over it?
You?
Exactly. Mistakes are punished here, so either I'd end up reduced to beggary, or I'd have to go back to what I was doing before. And I wouldn't like that.
What did you do before?
You're a bit inquisitive, ain't you?
Well, I get the feeling you're actually proud of it.
Let's just say I haven't always made an honest living. Is that enough for you?
Sure. I wouldn't want to be rude.
Very wise.
What did you do before?
You're a bit inquisitive.
Well, I get the... Not quite. I'd also like to know if you still got any tools.
I might be able to find something, but I'll tell you, it won't come cheap.
Isn't there maybe something I could do for you in exchange?
Well, since you're offering, I lost something playing dice and I'd like to have it back. A very nice turquoise rosary.
Who did you lose it to?
Father Nicodemus. That priest rolls dice like the devil himself was guiding his hand.
Don't worry. I'll get it for you.
But with no trouble, all right?
Naturally.
Oh well, what can you do? Farewell then.
Hope it lasts.
Hey, Wojtek. We've still got work to do. Come and help.
Can't you see I'm talking to...
I ain't seen you here. Are you?
Aye, I'm new here. Just like Wojtek here.
It's great to have some new lads here.
Oh, I wouldn't want...
It'd end up differently this time.
Are you also helping Wojtek's uncle?
No, just like with... Aye.
What? You.
Oh,
If you want to fight, I'll be happy to oblige. But not here, and not now.
don't worry. I'll...
I'm Henry.
My name's Votava.
What are you here for?
Me? Nothing much. I tried to rob a house near Tahov. I was sleeping in the woods for a week and I wanted to get at least a slice of bread. Only instead of bread, I found a pitcher of mead. So, I says to hell with it and I pour the whole lot down my neck. Then I see the farmer has a nice comfy bed with an eider-down quilt. So I had a nap. I slept like a baby, and if the bailiff hadn't come for me, I'd be sleeping there still.
And what can they do to you?
What do I know? I've spent some time in the stocks. That wasn't too bad. It's worse in some places, and now I'll be hauling here for a while, and then I reckon they'll kick my ass out of the gate.
Sounds to me like it's not the first time for you.
My neck has graced half the stocks in Bohemia, and one or two in Moravia too. The worst are the new ones. They've still got splinters sticking out of them, and that ain't pleasant. Once in Rumburg, they had brand new pine stocks. That was fucking awful.
Do you know how I can slip inside the Maiden?
Aye, friend. That's what every fella would like to know.
What? Oh, no, I mean the Maiden Tower. I need something there.
You're a barrel of laughs, eh? Well, I hear there's a nice chapel at the top. But I don't know my way round here much. But if you hang around here long enough and make yourself useful, you can get to all sorts of places. Once in Sternberg, I even got to the Lord's privy, which I was supposed to clean.
I doubt you'd find much of value in a privy, eh?
As it happens, I found a nice book there. Of course, I can't read, but there was some pretty fun pictures in it.
My word, that wasn't exactly an ingenious crime.
And what did you do?
I got into a brawl at young Lord Semin's wedding.
Fuck me. You brawl at a wedding that the cream of the whole region is attending, and you talk to me about ingenuity.
It seems to me you know a thing or two about... well, a thing or two.
Aha! Does it show that much? Well, I'm not much of a one for making an honest living. Never was, actually. What do you need?
I need to get inside the castle, and it's likely I'll encounter some obstacles on the way.
Like locks, eh? I'll give you a piece of advice for nothing. I've kept myself alive stealing crusts of bread from commoners. If you want to rob the nobility, you might as well take a noose along with you for your own neck.
I'm not planning to steal anything. I just need to talk to someone.
Well, that sounds pretty odd. But you're in luck. There's a certain groom at the castle. Kabat, they call him. We did a job together near Yichin. He pretends he don't know me. But I remember him. He might have something for you.
Ah, right, Kabat. I had the honor of making his acquaintance.
See then.
I'll be going.
Sure.
Lord be with you. What do you need?
the third toll. I'd better get moving.
I'm sorry.
Say, I heard some interesting books arrived here from Prague.
Let me stop you right there. Preparations are underway to execute a poacher. I don't have time to worry about a book right now. Stop by once the lad is strung up.
What'll it be?
Let me pass. The Master Chamberlain isn't well, and he sent me to the surgeon's study for medicine.
All right then, but nothing better go missing there.
Don't worry. I suppose you're waiting here for a bite to eat.
Damn right. Like, I know they're preparing a banquet for his nibs, but they could have left one cook here, or at least a bit of gruel, for Christ's sake.
Why don't you go to the other kitchen? They're cooking there.
Are you daft? That's the noble's kitchen. We get our food here.
I can try and find something for you.
Haven't you got anything better to do?
Not really. Besides, I'm quite hungry myself.
Go and look then. There's some baths down below. There might be something there. I'd go myself, but if someone saw me there, I'd be in trouble. Ever since... well, never mind.
I'll figure it out somehow. I'll be going then.
Go. And if you meet the cook, send her here.
You? What in God's name are you doing here?
I was about to ask you the same question.
I work here, genius.
Who are you, actually?
Me? I'm just cleaning here.
What's your name?
What's it to you?
Nothing. It's just common manners that people introduce themselves to others.
Well, I always was an unmannerly girl, so tough luck.
And what were you doing at the pond, then?
I thought we straightened that out the last time you bothered me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
We both know you're lying. The question is, why?
Says someone who was just sitting in a jail cell and will end up right back there if anyone calls the guards on him.
They let me out. I have to work off my sentence.
Really? Here. And what kind of important work would that be?
The Chamberlain sent me. He needs something for his stomach.
That slimy toad? If he doesn't watch out, his stomach will be the least of his worries.
Well, you look like you know your way around here. Maybe you can help me.
Why should I?
Because we're birds of a feather.
How do you mean?
Well, let's just say we both go where we shouldn't be going and take things that don't belong to us.
Oh, really? You must be mixing me up with someone. I just clean up here. And you don't look like someone who knows much.
Really? Didn't you lose a comb by any chance?
What? How did you...
How? I know a thing or two. So, do you believe me?
That was pretty good, I have to admit. And now give it back to me.
As you wish. And now I'm sure you'll be very happy to help me.
All right. If it's medicine you're after, the surgeon has a store across the corridor. There's all sorts of junk there, but there's one chest where he puts stuff that he hasn't used up. He locks it carefully, but you might get lucky.
And what if there's nothing interesting for me in there?
Then tough luck. But you can go and have a look at his records. That crackpot writes down everything he does. Maybe he gave someone something that might be of interest to you.
All right. Thanks.
And now get out of my way. Simple maid like me has lots of work to do in this castle.
The fourth bell. bell's ringing for hands the 5th time. Still hungry, are you?
I wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
Oh, I must have got mixed up.
Well, go and get mixed up.
I'll be going then.
Go. Bloody hell, I'm starving.
Merciful God, your only begotten Son took upon himself our wrongdoings and showed us the power of enduring pain and fortitude. Look down at our... My, you smell like a blooming meadow.
Killing me!
Sir, about those health problems of yours.
Yes?
I have exactly what you need, sir. Sir, I'd recommend that you take this digestive potion to settle your stomach. Take it after every meal, and don't forget, a good diet, and do not get upset.
All right. Thanks, then.
And now you ought to go and lie down, sir.
Lie down? Me? Ha! Without me, this place would grind to a standstill.
Sir, medicine isn't enough. You also need rest. Otherwise my potion won't have much effect.
Oh, all right then. I'll try it.
And another thing. I don't want to bother you, sir, but I have a question.
Yes? What is it?
Couldn't I go and pray in your chapel?
Ah, that again. Good heavens. Go where you want, boy. I'll inform the guards.
Thank you, sir.
You smell nice. smell nice. See you later, my friend.
Christ, pardon me.
The sixth bell. Half the time is up. It seems like you'd be glad to have someone to play with.
Alea jactan honest, my friend. The die has not been cast, and that grieves me. No one wants to play with me, so I'll be quite glad if you join me. And for what shall we play? You don't look too well off.
What did you do that no one wants to play with you? I hope you don't cheat.
Certainly not. Although it may look that way at times, since fortune is exceptionally good to me. Do not expect any tricks from me. It would be a sin.
And isn't playing dice a sin, too?
It's not as if we were Roman soldiers playing dice for Christ's cloak, is it?
Yeah, I never understood what they wanted that robe for. I doubt Jesus had any finery.
They sat on the robe, so they wouldn't feel the cold. You see, at that time of year, it was pretty cold in Golgotha.
Cold? Wasn't Christ crucified at Easter?
Yes, but it's more complicated. The lunar calendar, leap years, and whatnot.
Uh-huh. What did you do?
Certainly not.
And isn't...
It's not...
Romans?
Which, by the way, I successfully completed in autumn. So, yes, I am a real priest, my friend.
Never mind, then. I'll be going.
May the Lord bless your steps, friend.
So, are you still looking for someone to play against?
Indeed I am, friend.
Never mind, then.
May the Lord...
So, are you still...
Indeed.
Never mind then.
May the Lord...
If you're after some left...
on to me. You there?
Pardon me for disturbing you, miss.
If you want to pray, go somewhere else. The chapel is closed. Unless you're a priest. Which I presume you're not.
No, I'm not. My name is Henry.
I'm Adela, Thomas's sister. What is it you want, Henry?
I need to talk to your brother.
No chance of that. He's been lying in a fever for 3 days. And the surgeon is away with Sir Otto. Unless he returns soon, Thomas won't be talking to anyone ever again.
I heard that your brother is lying in a fever, so I brought something for him that might help.
Really? I don't know what to say. And I was against dragging Thomas to the chapel. I felt it would only burden him more.
God moves in mysterious ways. We ought to administer it to him quickly.
Yes, of course.
His fever is getting worse. If this doesn't work, I don't think he'll last long.
You all to be vigilant. These days we have all sorts of vagabonds, drifters, outlaws and bandits roaming the country. And we have one of those vermin here today. A fella called Hans, who is clearly not right in the head. A dangerous madman, a brawler, and a thug, the worst of all, a poacher. And so, for the damages he caused to our dear Lord Otto von Berghoff, he is sentenced to be hanged by the neck until dead!
Stop! You can't execute this man. He's a noble. Captain Thomas here will testify that we're messengers from Ratoi.
What is this nonsense, for Christ's sake?
It's true. I am Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein.
Deal with it, for God's sake!
But, sir, the captain...
Captain Thomas has a fever. He's clearly delirious. Seize them immediately.
You can't do this! I'm a nobleman, do you hear? A noble! Get your hands off me! can't do this!
Open the gates!
My lord.
What the hell is going on?
It was just it's a hanging.
You can't hang him. He's a noble.
That's for me to judge. Take him down! And for Christ's sake, help me off this horse!
You may enter. His lordship is expecting you.
So, you're messengers from Rattay, huh? I was wondering when someone would turn up. All right, then. Let's hear it.
My respects, Sir Otto. I am Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein, and this is Henry of Skalitz, my escort.
Welcome to Trotsky, gentlemen. I'd greet you standing up as befits, but I'm glad I can even sit at the moment.
I heard you were ambushed by outlaws.
You heard right. Those bastards did a job on me. And I got out luckier than most. Almost all the others were killed, including my page and my surgeon. So there is no one here to heal me, and I will have to inform poor Albert's father that his son died in my service.
I hope your health will soon be restored, sir.
We shall see. But now, you tell me what happened here in Herrgottsnamen. Why did my chamberlain try to hang you, Lord Capon?
In truth, the welcome we got from your Master Chamberlain was somewhat... how shall I put it?
Sir, we came to your castle in a state of desperation. Your Chamberlain had the guards empty excrement on my lord's head and beat him without hearing us out. You were still at the castle then, and if he'd let us see you, maybe you wouldn't have left and wouldn't have been ambushed. And if that wasn't enough, when he had Sir Hans arrested, he refused to believe who he was, even though not only I told him, but your Captain Thomas too.
I must say you have courage, youngster. But I expect I would also be in such a foul mood if the same had happened to me.
Sir!
Best be quiet, Ulrich. We will talk about that another time. And I apologize to you for that unpleasantness. At least it ended better than it might have. Anyway, let us leave this misunderstanding aside and get to the point. As far as I'm aware, Rattay showed no interest in negotiations before, either with me or with the League of Lords.
True. Our houses have thus far stood on opposite sides.
I should say so. Attacking Brno and Jihlava together with that renegade Sokol of Lemberg hardly inspired our sympathy.
Well, we can all point the finger. Your League of Lords, on the other hand, abducted the king. Although I don't doubt your reasons, just as Sir Hanush did.
We certainly had. The main one being that your Wenzel is an irresponsible drunkard and idler who is hurting the Empire by his inactivity. But let us leave that aside. Tell me, what does Sir Hanush have on his mind? I am all ears.
Unfortunately, during the ambush, we lost the letter we were carrying, so you'll have to make do with my word of mouth.
All right. Go ahead and speak.
In brief, Sir Hanush, Sir Radzig, and other lords take the view that the situation has got out of control. And that's of no benefit to anyone in Bohemia, neither Wenceslas's supporters or the League of Lords. King Sigismund's actions will not lead to instilling greater order than under King Wenceslas. Quite the contrary.
Let us say that maybe. What arises from it?
Sir Hanush and the other lords on our side are interested in knowing what the stance of the League of Lords is at this moment, and whether they haven't perhaps reevaluated some things.
In other words, whether I might betray Sigismund.
I wouldn't be so bold as to suggest that, sir. We are merely interested in whether you would sit down at the negotiating table with us. It's necessary to discuss the future of the kingdom, whether it's to be a common one or not.
The future is still a long way off for me, Lord Capon. Nonetheless, Sir Hanush and Sir Radzig are right. There is disorder and anarchy in the land. Bandits riding roughshod all over. As we all know, to our cost.
We've had plenty of experience of that at home too, sir. Only a short time ago we had to deal with a similar band.
Then you will surely understand that before I begin debating who would be the better king, I must sweep my own doorstep. Only I'm damned if I know how to do that, since those bastards have wiped out half of my garrison, including my captain.
If I may be so bold, sir, you're not the only one. We also have a score to settle with them, so Henry and I will gladly help you.
Is that so? Now that is what I call the words of a knight, Sir Hans.
Right now, we've got a common enemy, so we have common interests too.
So then, sir, may we be of assistance to you?
Indeed, you may. Perhaps in the end we may really find some common ground. I need to muster sufficient reserves to deal with those outlaws once and for all. I'm summoning my vassals here to Trotsky. And since I don't have many men left to send as messengers, I will gladly accept your help.
Just say the word, sir. Where should we go?
You'll go to Nebakov, a small castle, or rather a fortress among the cliffs. The yeoman there, Jaromir Nebak, is an old hardhat and may not be very willing to fulfill his obligations. It would be useful if an eloquent noble like yourself visited him to explain him clearly why I need his whole garrison.
Who is this Lord Nebak?
The lord of a smaller house with not much in the way of estates, just a fortress and lands, but he also owns a mill that provides a significant part of his income. His children are grown up. His daughter married well, thanks to Sir Otto. His son is away from the domain, dealing with duties. Sir Otto helped him to acquire an official position. In short, the House of Nebak is more than beholden to Sir Otto for his magnanimous help and support.
Thank you, Ulrich. Nevertheless, I suspect Jaromir will not be keen to charge into battle. But that is of little consequence. He has a few good men who will be useful. That will do us. If he delivers, I will regard his obligation as fulfilled.
What should we do if he's unwilling to heed what we say?
His house has always been loyal to mine. and it has always been more than worth their while. So tell him that I would like it to remain so. I do not expect any great obstacles, but it would be wise to show Sir Jaromir respect by sending him someone of status. He will take his time over being persuaded, and then concur, as he always has done.
I'll get to him somehow, sir.
I expect nothing less from you.
Is the route safe?
As I said, the fortress is in the wilderness amongst the cliffs. There are many places where outlaws may be hiding, so watch out.
Don't worry, sir. I have Henry here by my side for such situations.
Is that all, sir?
It's no simple task. Knowing Jaromir, if I sent a common messenger, he'd come back with a boot print on his backside. Dealing with the lower nobility can be tricky. They tend to be fixated on their own somewhat fragile status.
We'll take care of it, sir. Count on us.
All right. We'll head out as soon as possible. Let's not delay our diplomatic mission unnecessarily.
Very well. I think that is all for now. The Chamberlain will show you where you can put your heads down, and he will supply you with horses. And once we have resolved this little digression, we shall talk about your own mission.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask something, Sir Otto?
Oh. Ask away, young man.
When you were ambushed, did you see those bandits? Would you recognize any of them?
Henry, don't start with that again.
Why do you ask?
The thing is, when we were ambushed, I believe I saw among them one of the men we ran up against at home.
Oh. What did he look like? Do you know his name?
He's called Istvan Toth, a Hungarian noble. He wears black armor. A stocky fella, around 40.
I've already told you that's nonsense. How would he be here? You only saw him from a distance, from behind. You're imagining it.
And why does this Toth interest you, young man?
He was the leader of a band that made trouble for us in Sasau. And he has something that belongs to me.
Ah, interesting. Interesting. But I must disappoint you. I saw no one of that description.
Thank you, sir. And sorry. I had to ask.
I understand. And now I shall entrust you to the care of Uri here. And I shall look forward to the good tidings you bring me from Nebakov. Go with God, gentlemen.
Thank you for everything, sir. The Lord be with you.
There will be time enough yet for social niceties. Now there are more practical matters to deal with. Sir Otto has generously agreed to accommodate Lord Capon in one of his chambers. And you, Henry, shall also be accommodated, as befits your station. There, your, equipment shall also be returned to you, and you'll find your horse in the stable. Nevertheless, his lordship takes the view that, as a noble's escort, you should have a befitting mount. And therefore, he has kindly decided that you may take one of our horses, if you so wish. Gentlemen, follow me. So, Sir Hans, allow me to...
Hold on, Sir Ulrich. If you think everything is settled between us, and we're going to act like nothing happened, then you're mistaken.
Sir?
You were going to have me executed a short while ago. I expect a proper apology.
Then please accept my apology once more, sir. But given the circumstances...
Given the circumstance? What circumstances?
Sir, poaching is a capital offense.
And are you the king? That you can hand down death sentences? No, you are not. What's more, you had plenty of reasons to realize it wasn't a good idea.
Sir, I could not have realized that.
You couldn't have realized? Yes, you could, but then you wouldn't have been able to play the Lord and stage private executions.
Sir, once more I apologize. And now, please allow me to show you to your quarters.
I wouldn't dream of inconveniencing you. I'll find my quarters by myself. Henry, once you're done with that annoying fool, get your horse and we'll meet at the gate.
Well, it seems Lord Capon will not be requiring my services anymore today.
I think you owe him a proper apology.
I think I've apologized more than enough. Even though I had little reason not to regard him as a poacher. But still, I will try to rectify my error. Nevertheless, welcome to Trusky, the finest and biggest castle you shall ever see. Rumor has it that the castle was built on the jaws of hell, and that we're sometimes plagued by demons here. But don't believe a word of it. It's just idle talk to excuse the servants' laziness and incompetence. It's demanding enough keeping everything here running smoothly without any of that. It requires a man of exceptional qualities and talents. By the way, this place is a maze for strangers. It's very easy to get lost.
I'm sorry.
The jail cells are down there. But I believe you are already fairly well acquainted with that part of the castle, aren't you?
All too well, thanks.
Once old folks start getting soft in the head, it's bad news. Exactly. Let me tell you, I'd rather die poor but young than to go...
Here it is. You'll find a bed inside, opposite the door, and a chest where we put your belongings. You'll find some new clothing there, a little gift from our gracious lord, to ensure you're not mistaken for a beggar again. Once you're settled in and properly dressed, stop by the stable. They're beyond the gate, down the path. Ask for Kabat. He was supposed to prepare a horse and tack for you. Or tell him you'll keep your own if you insist. Then he'll give you proper tack at least, so you don't disgrace us.
Thanks. I'm grateful.
As you should be. So, you and I are finished, and I can finally attend to some proper work, so this castle doesn't fall on our heads.
God be with you. Keep the peace, and we'll stay friends.
God be with you.
doggy.
What would you like?
How long have you been serving in Trotsky?
And what are you after, anyway?
Nothing. I'm a blacksmith like my father before me, so...
So, you thought you might find some work with me? Well, you won't, fella me lad. And if you are going to be loitering around me here, all you'll do is get on my nerves. So, best be on your way.
All right, go.
How bold of you! You steal something from us, and then you go walking around with it on. That's not happening.
What will it be?
How long have...
And what?
Nothing.
So, will you... So...
I'll have a look at the...
Ah, maybe next time then. What do you need, sir?
What do you have? Word about the price.
Very well.
Satisfied?
You'll have to make a better offer for this. Aye, you'll convince me with that price. Thank you, sir. And come again. What will it be?
Sure.
Hmm. What can... Greetings. What...
Show me your... Let's talk about the...
Well...
What would you say?
We're nearly... Aye, that'll do. Glad you found what you were looking... for, sir.
Bless you.
I'll have a... I'd like to discuss...
Where?
Do we have a deal?
Look. Aye, you...
And come again.
Burning. It'll be done in no time. Burning.
Well, I'm about halfway done. Good. This won't take long now. Good. That looks finished. This will take a bit longer. And that's it. almost got it done.
How long have you...
What?
I don't...
He's...
Would you repair a few things? That's more like it.
like to discuss the price.
Well, I suppose...
How's this?
We're nearly... Aye, that'll... sir. And come again.
I'm always glad to see polite people like you. God be with you.
Cheers. I hope you have an uneventful shift.
Are you deaf? The weapon! Put it away! Good. See? There's no need to be swinging a weapon around here.
What kind of tasks do you do for Lord von Burgov?
Rare ones, lad. His lordship spends little time at Trotsky. As the Royal Chamberlain, he has to be in Prague most of the time.
What does the Royal Chamberlain do?
I understand, lad. You're asking about his authority, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know anything at all about him.
Sir Otto von Burgo is the Royal Chamberlain, subcamerarius in Latin. He's one of the 9 most powerful officials in the kingdom. He manages the royal towns and monasteries, approves the councillors and abbots in them, and appoints the royal judges.
Why does Sir Otto have to be in Prague so often?
Because that's the seat of the royal court, and our lord is one of the highest royal officials. Praga caput regni, young man. Prague is the heart of the kingdom. All the political threads come together there. It's where they handle administration of the country. If you want to be somebody, you have to go to Prague. Or to Moravia, to that traitor Jobst of Luxembourg.
Why doesn't Lord von Burgov free our King Wenceslas from captivity in Vienna? He's powerful enough for that, isn't he?
It's politics, boy. Pure and simple.
I understand, but could you explain it a bit more for me? Why did they take our king captive? And why did the Czech lords let Sigismund spread all over the country like a plague?
That's complicated. Back during the reign of both King's father, Emperor Charles, the nobles gained great wealth and power. And when young Wenceslas came to the throne, he didn't have enough experience or courage to stand up to them. That's why he surrounded himself with faithful lower lords and entrusted them with all the royal offices.
I reckon the high nobility didn't like that, eh?
You're damn right they didn't. They conspired against the king and established their League of Lords. That started a protracted war, dragging the king's cousins, Prokop and Jobst of Luxembourg, into it. But King Wenceslas was stubborn, unyielding, and, unfortunately, also often drunk. He preferred to run away from politics to wine, women, and the hunt. It was only a matter of time before the lords conspired with his brother, the Hungarian King Sigismund. A year ago, they got together and captured Wenceslas in Prague, and Sigismund had the royal castles occupied by his allies. They secretly took the king to Vienna, where his brother is still holding him firmly under lock and key.
So von Burgov and the others want Sigismund to be king?
Not at all. Soon they discovered they'd miscalculated, and that Sigismund wanted the whole country for himself. And now, they can't agree on what to do about it. I think that's why Lord von Burkhoff received your message. He's trying to find new allies among the lower nobility.
Excuse me, but why do you consider Margrave Jobst a traitor?
And what else should I call a person who only looks out for any chance to benefit himself?
But now he's fighting for King Wenceslas, isn't he?
Jobst has changed sides so often it's impossible to keep track. But, to give him credit where credit is due, unlike our king, he's a great politician. Wenceslas wasn't even able to hold on to the imperial crown that his father passed on to him before he died. Yes, indeed. One day that bloody Margrave Jobst of ours is going to make it big. He might even become the emperor himself.
Who are among Wenceslas's opponents?
Who do you think? All the nobles in the League of Lords, of course. The most powerful are Henry of Rosenberg, Henry of Hraditz, Boresh of Riesenberg, Bohuslav of Schwamberg, and our Sir Otto von Berghoff, too, so far.
But we serve Sir Hanush of Lipa and Radzig Kobyla.
Exactly. They're representatives of the lower nobility, who always stood faithfully by Wenceslas because he handed out royal positions to them.
Ah, damn politics.
On the contrary, boy. It's only thanks to politics that von Berghoff didn't send you two to the gallows straight away.
I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, and I appreciate Nickvard's help, but he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return it, but he's been avoiding me.
Why would Nickvard suddenly be avoiding you?
I have a sneaking suspicion. It seems Nickvard lost the book. I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickvard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
The price of such a book must be incalculable. People like Nickvard are too dumb to understand.
But I digress. As I said, Nickvard is intentionally avoiding me. But I've made headway. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently. Bertha, the cook, Regina, the maid, and Hirsch, the hand.
For a nobleman, Nickvard is quite wary of his own kind, speaking only to servants.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to anyone but myself. Nickvard is a loner. Which is also why I suspect something bad has happened. Now that he's decided to leave his shell, that is. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkove's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they lead me to Nickvard.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll discuss what you found out.
Before I go, can you tell me where I can find those people in the castle?
Who, exactly?
You said Nickvard is avoiding you. Where at the castle does he live? Are there any places he frequents?
Nickvard lives like a hermit here at Trotsky. Like a ghost. His chambers are in the Crone's Tower. But God knows if he's ever slept there. He took his meals down in the Crone's kitchen. Lately, I've often seen him talking to Regina in the Knight's Hall, in the Maiden, or looking out the hall window. I caught sight of him a few times with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle.
So I just have to hope I run into him somewhere.
Nickvard always just shows up. I've rarely ever found him on my own. I'm not surprised you can't find him anywhere, since I've been trying myself.
Where is Bertha?
Bertha cooks for us in the Crone's kitchen. She's there most days. If you can't find her there, try the first house in the lower castle, across from the door to the dungeon.
Where is Regina?
As Lord von Berkoff's personal maid, she'll likely be somewhere in the Maiden's Palace. Perhaps in the Knight's Hall, or on the floor above it, near the Lord's chambers. She even sleeps there.
Where is Hirsch, the stable boy?
I've seen him with Hirsch at the transport yard below the castle. He sleeps in the house directly across from it. I don't know him much, though.
That's everything I needed to know.
Look what I have for you. You silly doggy.
You silly mutt.
Here, mutt.
God bless, good sir.
Greetings.
Look what I have for you.
Here, mutt.
Come here, boy.
Praise.
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nickvard?
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers. What is it?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capon. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you more than me.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the dungeon of those two women. Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
True enough. Nickvard has a flair for the dramatic.
My, that's Liebach for you.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Liebach has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. He thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's potion book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here, talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I need help. You can give it some thought, can't you?
No! And now leave me alone. Go away with that weapon! There. I see you're reasonable after all.
Any idea? You're not permitted to be here.
Surrender.
Easy! I surrender!
I've got you. You can't say you weren't warned. You'll pay up and show me.
Utter nonsense, all of this. You're keeping me from an important mission. You'll have to answer to the nobility for this.
Oh,
Did you hear about what happened at the big wheel? At the mill? Yeah, the place by the Zhirovka stream. What then? Has the water sprite been up to mischief again?
Lord be with you. I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Hey, Nick. I mean, Lord Liebach. I almost forgot about him. I suppose his task wasn't so pressing. Hmm?
What task?
Nick Liebach, that is, entrusted me with a big task quite a while back. He's a castle lord. Obviously, I had to obey him. But then I heard what another castle lord was planning, von Berghoff, and I had to obey him even more. He says there's a war on. So here I am, ready to go off to battle.
I need to know more about what Nickvard asked you to do.
No. There are new rules now. You have to prove you're not a spy.
What are you blathering about?
Von Berghoff said there's a war on, right now. I told him, watch out for spies, Sir Otto. But fear not, I know how to sniff them out. You're a spy yourself, ain't you?
I'm not.
Ha! That's exactly what a spy would say. That's why you have to be vetted, to see if you're really on our side. The side that Nickvard's on, just so you know. We're all friends here. You can join us.
I'd like to.
Hold your horses. First a test.
Tell me what you want from me, then.
A sword.
Sword? Hmm? What sword?
A long and very good one to help me deal with other spies. If you bring it to me, I'll know you're not an enemy spy who should fear me. Forge one, buy one, or even steal one for me. Maybe from one of the guards at the training ground or down by the gate. During the day, they're not in the towers anyway.
Steal a sword? That sounds like something a spy would do.
Not a spy who wants to help von Bergoff's most loyal servant. By servant, I mean me. See, once I get a sword, I'll fill you in on Nickvard's task.
I'll think of a way to convince you.
I'm always glad to see polite people like you. God be with you.
Cheers. I hope you have an uneventful shift.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Well, I'm waiting for Lord Libac to stop by. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I don't even know if the last one helped. I told him to stop by for another one soon. I reckon he must be feeling better.
Nickvard needed medicine? For what?
I can't say. I promised Lord Libac his secret is safe with me, as well as his phial of medicine.
Oh, come now. Nickvard misplaced an important book somewhere. A sort of alchemist cookbook. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And Lord Libac's secret is certainly worth more than any book.
Listen, Bertha. I truly respect your honesty. I'm in the service of a nobleman myself, and I know what's expected of us in cases like these, whether it's Nickvard's illness or political machinations over the fate of our kingdom. Both carry equal weight when spoken about behind closed doors, I'd say. I stand by my principles in matters like that.
Lord Libac's troubles can hardly compare to what you're talking about. It's really quite a trifle in comparison.
So you'll tell me then?
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go down easier and come out slower the other end. In that regard, Lord Libac had, well, how to say it? Everything came out much too quickly.
Nickvard didn't have time to run down the stairs, eh?
It was in the privy down below the crone. By the training ground, below the guardhouse. I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine, and I promised that I wouldn't say anything. Lord Libac is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maids, you know. He didn't want this little episode to put them off. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters, though it's closer to his chamber, but to the arena instead, and only when there weren't any soldiers around. But this time, it caught up with him.
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst thing in the world. It happens to the best of us, and I told him as much then. I'm just surprised he never came back for another file, I must say. He did look as if the fate of the entire castle was suddenly on his shoulders.
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have found a worse clue.
Thanks anyway.
What'll it be?
I need to take a load off.
What'll it be this time, Henry?
I could use the company of a pretty bath maid.
Excellent. Pay up, and we can get started.
Let's talk about the price.
Certainly. No problem.
Satisfied?
You must be from a poor... Wonderful. You'll see. You'll be happy to come back here. My God, that was really something. You'd better warn me next time. I'm not much of a swimmer. Good doggy. Good boy.
Praise the Lord.
Greetings.
And nor should you.
Except I don't have a bullock, and you won't lend me yours on any other day.
Go and see the priest first. If he says it's all right, I'll be happy to help him.
Farewell.
Farewell.
Go and get your horse so we can get going. Good evening, Henry.
Good evening. So, how did you end up at Trotsky?
Sir Otto hired me in Prague as his bodyguard and a swordmaster for the local castle garrison. I reckon he sensed he was in danger, and he was right. A band of scoundrels was lying in wait for us on the road, and they nearly got us.
You must have been honored when the Royal Chamberlain chose you as his bodyguard. How did you meet?
That's simple. I was serving in the garrison in Prague's royal castle, where von Burgo was a frequent guest.
I see. But what brought you to his attention? You have good connections, I suppose.
Depends what you mean. I'd recently won 2 big tournaments, so I was invited to a splendid banquet. It was there Sir Otto offered me a position at his castle. I'd heard of Trotsky, of course, but I was still astonished when I saw it with my own eyes. Sir Otto spared no expense to build a truly mighty fortress.
How was your company ambushed? What happened exactly?
It was well planned, I must admit. They nearly got us.
What went wrong for them?
Hard to say. Maybe we were just lucky, and God was watching over us.
That's all there was to it?
If you really want to know what I think, the idiots lacked discipline. They rushed it.
What do you mean?
It might have come down to a single fool's mistake. I don't know. But if they just waited a bit longer, we wouldn't have stood a chance. Like I say, I thank the Virgin Mary and all the saints for watching over us.
Why do they call you Black Bartosz?
It's just a nickname, of course, because of my, black hair. Every swordsman has a nickname, you know? Once you win a few tournaments, they give you one.
So you're really a high-born knight?
Indeed. I'm Bartoszek of Drahonitz. My father served Emperor Charles his entire life.
Oh, sorry. I suppose I should call you sir.
No, there's no need for formalities. Titles are worthless. A man should earn a name for himself. It's not enough to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Sorry, but we're about the same age, and I'd never have guessed you're a swordmaster.
We each have our own path, it seems. I even studied at university, while I could still afford it.
What? You're a man of letters as well?
I wouldn't go that far. I dabble in poetry a bit, that's all. I may come from a noble family, but we're not renowned or rich, and studying costs a fortune, and I didn't have one, so I had to do what I do best.
You became a mercenary.
That's right. I spent more time fighting than studying at university, and I came out of it alive, so I reckoned that's where my talent lies.
Where did you learn to fight, Bartosz?
I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to it. I travelled a lot and was taught by several masters.
I'd like to see the world too, but I haven't even made it to Prague yet.
Well, I haven't been all that far either. But unless you learn from true masters, you'll never become a master yourself. Fortunately, these days there are plenty of swordsmen in Prague who will train you for coin.
I hope to make it to our royal city someday soon.
If you do, go and see Master Lamprecht and give him my regards. He's a man of honor and a peerless master of the longsword.
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Certainly. Why not? I happen to have some time on my hands, and a good stretch would do me well. As you can probably figure, I like the longsword because it's beautiful and an absolutely nimble weapon. Our grandfathers didn't use them, but today in Prague, everyone is tripping over themselves to learn how to fight with one. I'll be happy to show you how to handle it better. What do you say?
That sounds good. Teach me that.
As you wish. The first thing is to realize a sword has two blades, and thanks to your second hand on the hilt, you can quickly spin it around and hit your opponent's head. These are exactly the techniques that make the longsword an extremely deadly weapon. Now come and try it a few times. All good? No has ever fallen from heaven for anybody.
What happened at the big wheel?
At the mill?
Yeah. The police base here off the stream.
What then? Has the water sprite
Careful.
mischief again?
You could say that. They found a dead body. Miller Bruschka says he was in the water at least a week, judging by the state of his body.
So what? Somebody did him in and chucked him into the water.
But the river there is a powerful
About Nickford.
Got that sword yet, spy?
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
That's perfect. Lovely. I don't think you're a spy. Can't say for sure, but you seem all right.
What about Nickford, then?
Nickvard asked me to do something for him. He must have admired my devotion to Lord von Bergoth. Either way, Nick looked troubled and not very healthy. He wanted me to fetch him something he lost outside the castle, and I told him I would. At least I could check to see if anyone was sneaking around about the castle. But then Nickvard clutched his belly and ran off. So I never found out what he wanted, or from where.
That's all?
Aye. If you run into Nickvard, ask him if he still needs it or whether he found it himself. I'll be going into war soon, so I don't have time for these things, see?
I'll tell him.
You have a kind master, eh? What?
I heard they're going to cut down the old road at Crossroads.
Oh. Why?
Here you go. Take it.
It's a nice place to rest when you're passing by in the sun. Only a bit of shade.
That's just it. Some noble was resting on it. Not for shade.
How can I help you today, friend?
Show me your wares. I'd like to discuss the price.
Very well.
Is this enough?
More. Aye. Thank you, and a good day. To you, friend. Look what I have for you.
Have a lovely summer evening.
You too. And an even better night.
Are you suggesting something?
Here, Mutt.
You silly doggy.
Greetings to you too.
Chucked him into the water. Look at that.
I'm always glad to see polite people like you. God be with you.
Good evening. What do you need, lad?
I'm here for some horse tack. I hear you have something for me.
Well, fuck me blind.
You got out of jail yesterday, and today you've got a horse. Fuck, I wouldn't mind having your kind of luck. But you're fucking things up for me and making a mess. And I don't want to get a whipping on your account. I've got the tack ready, but I've been ordered to show you our herring first. You can take him, they said. So kindly take a look at him in the stable here and tell me if you want him or not. It's good to see you, my friend.
I took a look at Herring.
And?
I'll take him.
Good. He ain't the fastest, but he'll work his little heart out, and he'll keep going for fucking ages. And he's a well-behaved, smart animal as well. An honest stock, too. From the Sameen stud farm. Not one of them stolen nags that's seen around these parts. I've heard that wind is blowing from them dodgy nomads.
So I heard.
Well, let's not forget about your horse. He's there in the stables, so go and get him. You do know how to ride, don't you?
Ah, don't worry. I'm right at home with horses. I learned to ride with cumans on my tail, and arrows whistling past my head. A tough school it was.
Well, I'll be damned. I never heard such a thing before. But even an experienced horseman like you needs equipment, as you well know. You can tack him up yourself, right?
Sure. Thanks.
Farewell.
Are you whistling here?
God be with you. Keep the peace. And we'll stay friends. me sleep.
Good day to you.
About that lost alchemy book.
Please tell me you found it.
Not yet, but I searched for Nickvard, and I have some clues.
Tell me what you've learnt then.
It looks like Nickvard brewed some sort of potion from the book. He told Regina it would restore his youth, but the potion didn't sit well with him. He must have spent a lot of time on the privy at the training grounds below the Crone. Bertha brewed a digestive potion for him, but it didn't work. When he wasn't shitting or writing notes to servants, he asked Hirsch to bring him something from beyond the castle walls. He lost something there, and then he vanished without a trace.
What do you think about it?
You said that Nickvard had a habit of carrying books everywhere with him. If that was the case with the alchemy one, it's possible it fell down the latrine while he was shitting by the training ground. And now it's lying somewhere on the cliffs beyond Trotsky.
That actually sounds quite likely to me. Let's pray he didn't use it to wipe himself. Go there and look. Perhaps you'll find the book, and Nickvard too. Careful!